Excellent. So, Shabbat Shalom. We'll begin with Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh, Avarachana, Neshama, Keletzona, Yamusava, Kemaya, Ishtachave, Emutana, Yehamo, Yediduta, Vinofetsu, Bechoda, Adonai, Zikaola, Nafshi Chola, Ahavata, Anaela, Efanala, Beharola, Nohamila, Asikaze, Betijape, Behatava, Ibadola, Vatikyahem, Rachamecha, Befusna, Avenohava, Izakava, Tichsov, Tichsov, Piram, Tiferet, Uza, Alayli, Machalivi, Uzata, Be'aditala, Nigalena, Rus Havivala, Ketsuka, Shaloma, Ma'eret, Tikvoda, Nagila, Benismechava, Maheru, Ivamoe, Echoteni, Imeola, Shabbat Shalom. As we reach the end of a busy week, it's a time for us to take that moment to pause, to think about all that we've accomplished over this last week, be able to find something that's able to bring us a sense of joy or satisfaction, because just as maybe there's some things that we still have not fully finished yet that we still need to work on, and we're able to at least take a lot of joy in the progress we've made. So we'll continue drawing on that sense of joy with Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai, Navia Letzorishenu. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai, Navia Letzorishenu. Lekadna Chana Betova, Bizmerot Navia Lo. Lekadna Chana Betova, Or Zarua Latzadik. Or Zarua Latzadik, Ulehishre Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik, Ulehishre Lev Simcha. Simchu Tzadikim Adonai, Vehudu Lezecher Kodsho. Simchu Tzadikim Adonai, Vehudu Lezecher Kodsho. We'll rise if you're able for Psalm 29. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai B'neinim, Havu Ladonai Kavavot, Havu Ladonai Kevod Shemo, Yishachavu Ladonai B'Havrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai Al Hamayim El HaKavod Yirim Adonai Mayim Rabim Kol Adonai V'Korah Kol Adonai V'Hada Kol Adonai Shover Arazim V'Shaver Adonai Et Razei Hamanot Hayakitem Kemoegem Levanon V'Sirion Kemo Meneinim Kol Adonai Chotef Lachodesh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Yechol Elayalo Vayecheso Ye'avo Ye'avo Uvechalo Ulo 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 Omer Kavod Adonai Lama V'yashav Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Yos Ve'amo Yitein Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom. So we'll continue with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, Librat Kala, Bene Shaba, Nekavela, Shamo V'Zachon, V'Dibo Echad Mishmianu, V'Hameyuchad Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad L'Shem Tiferet, Ve'Litila Lecha Dodi, Librat Kala, Bene Shaba, Nekavela, Likat Shaman, Nachu Menelcha Kihi, Mechor Ha'Bevacha, Merosh Mikadem, Atila, Lechadodi, Likakala, Neshama, Nekamela, Bahayulim Shisa, Shosaich, Terachapoko, Mevalaich, Yasisalayich, Elohayim, Kim Sochata, Atanakala, Lechadodi, Likakala, Neshama, Nekamela, Yaminus Mon, Tifroti, Adonai, Daviti, Ayadish, Parsi, Benismecha, Benagila, Bekadodi, Likakala, Neshama, Nekamela. We'll rise and face our entrances. Holy v'shalom, ateret balagam besimcha, uvetzalav tochamume, atzekula, goichala, mechadodi likakala, beneshava nekavela. As we'll continue with Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. Yatom Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Yatom Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Ocha, Tasim Leolam. Wonderful. So Shabbat Shalom. And tomorrow, when we gather in synagogue, we'll be reading from Parashat Ki Tetzeh. And the reading really begins with a really surprising commandment, one that really cuts against what you would assume looking at the entire story of the Torah. That in a longer passage, talking about which nations are able to eventually convert to Judaism, where we're able to see, I think, more of that productive mixing, the nations that are able to be a source of allies, that we have a commandment saying that we're commanded not to abhor either someone from the nation of Edom or someone from Egypt. And it describes how Edom was descended from Esau, who was Jacob's brother, so that there's a family connection. And when you look at the interactions with that nation, even as it was never fully warm, that it was always undergirded by a little bit of civility, knowing that there was that family connection. But of course, this commandment of not to abhor the Egyptians is deeply surprising. That they were the nation that enslaved Egypt for, it was really the entire time, leaving and going back was 400 years, but, who enslaved the Israelites for a few generations. Yet here, where we have a command of not to hate them and to one day be willing to welcome them into the community through conversion. And it describes the reason we do that is because of remembering the fact that the Jews also once were strangers in Egypt, and that the Egyptians brought us in. This, of course, is a reference to the story at the end of Genesis, that as Joseph rose to power, he was able to give his family a place, a safe place, to be able to wait out, the end of a 7-year famine. And so this is strange, but I think that it at least encourages us to look at history in a different way. That rather than only looking at certain highlights, that it's commanding us to take that bigger picture, the look at the bigger picture. That of course there are other commandments, in which we are supposed to remember our experience of being slaves, and there's always just a little bit of distrust towards the Egyptians, but at the same time, we're commanded not to forget that there was that initial kindness, and that we're supposed to hold on to that memory, perhaps as proof or a belief that something within them means that it has that possibility. And it's really more about the circumstances of whether they were going to be a friend or a foe. And I think we can see that when we look at a few small details within the Exodus story. That there's a few moments that in describing Moses standing up to Pharaoh, that even as there was that power struggle between the leaders, that how the people, how the advisors within the Egyptian court were able to look at Moses with respect. And similarly, that when it's time for the Israelites to leave, as they ask for some of the gold and treasure from the Egyptians, which so Faye's here in the Zoom room. She spoke about this last year of do we see that as a type of robbery, or was it the fair payment for the years of slavery, or was it the gifts? And the traditions really try to emphasize that it was out of the sense of respect, perhaps out of the sense of payment for the work that the Egyptians did. That it's trying not to necessarily be stealing before they leave, and I think that adds to this, that even in that moment, and even perhaps as the Israelites rushed out after the horror of the last plague, that it was undergirded by that sense of respect. And so I think as we then enter into the final weeks before the high holidays, it's a reminder for ourselves that as we look at our own lives, as we look at the behavior of those around us, that it's a reminder that we should never let a single moment color something against its larger context. Of course, there are some actions that will make us rethink everything we know about someone, and there are going to be, some actions that are so bad that it will deservedly create a permanent break. But otherwise, for most of the time, it's a reminder that we should be able to see something within that wider context. That just as each of us have the potential to do bad, that we all also have that potential to improve and become better. And so that if it's the case that the Israelites, before they even reach the land of Israel, are able to look back on their experience with the Egyptians and to try to bring forward the initial kindness, that it's a reminder that so too, as we are asking whether or not we should forgive those around us, that it pushes us to then see perhaps those more positive aspects of those around us and to really work on bringing that forward. And I think then also when we are able, and I think that's something that can be very difficult. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, one of the middle, or one of the most important Hasidic masters, he was the grandson of the founder, that he really sort of asks what it means to sort of judge someone favorably, asking, would it be possible for someone to be entirely wicked? That for most people, even when we have the deepest of disagreements, the deepest of fights, that Rabbi Nachman described this belief that there would always be that one piece that was still good. And that being able to find that piece and to be able to perhaps help it grow means that then someone is able to shift to being that enemy into once again being a friend. And so I think our Torah reading this week is pushing us to try a little harder to see that in each other. And of course, as we go through our own reflection, it's important to always remember that each of us have that potential in ourselves. And so with that, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with Misha Berach, our prayer for physical and spiritual healing. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Laimotenu the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say As we'll now turn our thoughts to the hostages still held within Gaza, and we'll sing Achenu, a prayer that they may go from a place of confinement to a place of openness, a place of darkness to a place of light. Achenu, O Beit Yisrael, Achenu, O Beit Yisrael, Anetuni Betzara Umashivya, Haomim Ben Bayam Uben Bayavasha, Hamakom Yerachem, Yerachem, Aleha Leyotziyah, Yitzhava, So this week in our Har El community, we are remembering Devorah Scheindel Altman, mother of Yehuda Altman, Magda Wise, aunt of Mary Ann Siegel, Ayal Dadon, brother of Shai Dadon, Betty Ergas, wife of Alfred Ergas, Cheshmat Miraj, mother of Jacob Miraj, Nuchim Fuchs, father of Seisha Fuchs Geddes, and Alice Abram Siegel, mother of Marilyn Chodam. We pray that their memory may be for a blessing. We continue evoking the end of Mourner's Kaddish by singing Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom b'mamav, Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Amen. Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako Yisrael, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako Yisrael, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako Yisrael, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako Yisrael, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ve'yako So Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining or for watching later on YouTube. So our services tomorrow will be at 10 a.m. And Kiddush this week is sponsored by Jim and Alyssa Meadow in celebration of, from one child, the birth of a granddaughter, as well as in honor of the wedding of their daughter Rachel to Lenny Tabakin. So a very exciting week. And then looking further ahead, we will be doing the How to Have an Aliyah workshop on Sunday. And also the sign up for the Book of Remembrance is now open. So if you want to include the name of loved ones, please do so. And the registration for the Shabbat dinner, so next week will be in person for Friday night. The registration will close Tuesday, September 17th at noon. And then next Sunday will be the family workshop to get ready for high holidays. And then there's the challah, there's another class getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. And then the last thing I think to highlight is we'll have the event to meet the Squamish Nation in commemoration of the Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And so that will be Sunday, September 29th from 2 to 4. So as we get closer to high holidays, things of course will be getting busier. But the best way to know what's going on is reading the email. And it's almost too much for me to share each week. So we'll continue with our grape juice. And unfortunately, I don't have challah this week. So we'll just have to be satisfied with grape juice. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat V'asodet HaShabbat L'dorotam b'brit olam B'ni u'b'min Yisrael oti le'olam Oti le'olam Oti le'olam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Shabbat V'asodet HaShabbat L'dorotam b'brit olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Et ha'shabbat V'asodet ha'shabbat L'dorotam b'brit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael Et ha'shabbat V'asodet ha'shabbat L'dorotam b'brit olam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. So Shabbat Shalom, I'll end the live stream and